The Sanguinala. Welcome, gentle listener, I am Baldermort, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the forces, factions, and festivals of the Warhammer 40k setting, the grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace, there is only time for war. If you wish to see the channel flourish, then like and subscribe. And today, as I have not been able to finish my larger video on time, to tide us over, we shall explore a much beloved topic in this most terrible of settings. The existence of the proles of the Imperium is terrible indeed, so much so that even the Primarch Gilliman, coming out of a coma of some 10 millennia or more, made note of its horrors. He stated that it was no surprise that so many denizens of hive worlds or worse had simply no reason to resist the allures of chaos. What could possibly be worse than the lives they already lived? Of course, this shows his naivety towards the truly turgid existence that is to be had under the yoke of the Dark Guards. But then, so few of the Imperium's populace at large know of the reality therein contained. For to even know of the dark powers at all is cause for extermination by arbiter, ministorum, priest, or inquisitor, no matter the ordo involved. Faith in the God Emperor of mankind is the only true reason to continue in such dire and doleful times, where life is a constant drudge that ultimately terminates in being processed into corpse starch, the old soylent green that feeds the future generations of misbegotten and blighted men and women of the era Indomitus. Faith that somehow the Emperor will not just protect them in the present, but provide a halcyon existence when this life is over. That the Emperor will take them to a paradise where he guides and walks amongst his people in an everlasting afterlife. Now this point may be risible from the perspective of many, certainly of the new lore coming out from Games Workshop, yet without faith in the ceremonies, festivals, and fears it forces, the conviction it gives, how could a lone guardsman stand against the oncoming hordes of the Green Tide or the Eternal Maw, the Great Devourer? When many can merely raise their heads to look into the night skies, if it were even permissible on such worlds to do this, only to witness the visual sign of the change in the times. For the great tear across reality is so large, so colourful, so ever-changing, that it cannot be ignored. For some, it is a sign of evil, for others, a thing that causes mutation and corruption to all who witness it. Yet, it cannot be ignored, not truly. In a time where a man or woman may never find even fleeting love, waking and reclining in a grotty slum room not 10 foot by 10 foot, their entire existence being lived in this hovel, or amidst the dangerously polluted factorums that churn day and night to create the many weapons, armor, uniforms, and consumables required to support the hammer of the Emperor, the Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard. For most of us from today, this is a life not worth the living. As it was always designed to be, it reflects the terrible truth of a universe inimical to human life. A galaxy teetering on the edge, a place where evil is everywhere, and even your own kind can turn on you at the drop of a hat. As the byline goes, there can be no hope of progress or enlightenment. And no matter what you do or how you strive, when you are done, you will not be missed. In the Imperium, in these times, the only thing that keeps men and women moving onwards each day is the faith that if they work just that little bit harder, fight that little bit harder, endure what no other can endure, then maybe, just maybe, one day their descendants may witness the dawn of the much-promised better world. A galaxy cleared of all Xenos who hunt humans, a galaxy without dark guards and their foul servants. Finally, a life worth the living. the Ecclesiarchy, those who preach the word of the Emperor and the great tales of the heroism of his sons, the Primarchs, may well appear to be fairy tales to those who lived through such times, like some of the Chaos Marines and, of course, those sons of the Emperor who have returned, the Lion and the Avenging Sun. Much as they may sneer at the Imperial cult, knowing it was not what the Emperor wished for his people, fully cognizant of the old Imperial truth, still, even they will see its utility. For the human race of the Imperium does not even have bread and circuses. Entertainment is brutal, but rare, the flogging or execution of criminals being little more than an Orwellian prescribed minute of hate. For a people to continue, they require hope. And it is the ceremonies and celebrations of the Imperial cult that provide this, even in the most meagre of ways. And there are a few that are known, though little is actually clearly shown in the lore as far as my research has uncovered up to this point. So let us go through them. The Feast of the Emperor's Ascension. This is a festival that celebrates the day the Emperor was raised to the Golden Throne. Most do not know the reason for this being required. They do not know of the battle upon the Vengeful Spirit, the ultimate clash between Horus Lupercal and the Emperor of Mankind. They do not know that his body was broken in the battle, and that he was near death. They are blissfully unaware that the Emperor would have died if he had not been interred on that esoteric throne, and even fewer that it is not him on said throne, but a projection. As outlined in the most recent book from the Black Library, he is a poor lich, supping on the lives of thousands of sacrifices a day, is how it is projected behind the curtain. But for the standard human of the Imperium, the Feast of the Emperor's Ascension is a time to relish, for the Emperor became a god that day. On many worlds, a rare week-long festivity is enacted, with food and entertainments. Even more rare is that on those days, no toil need be performed by any but law enforcement and absolutely fundamental upkeep. But this festival can be celebrated in so many ways. It is said that on some feral worlds, it is a time of duels and battles, for on this day, the Emperor looks down and personally chooses the bravest souls to join him. The Imperium has 1,000,000 worlds under its command, and near every permutation of party or festival is likely performed somewhere out there in the cold of space. The Feast of the Primarch's Rebirth. A newer festival, clearly, for it celebrates the return of the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Rabute Gilliman, the Avenging Sun. Yet where the Festival of the Ascension is a fun time, the Primarch's Rebirth is a time of reflection and faith. Lines of priests will self-flagellate, go into fasts until health can be impeded, recitals of litanies and events that seem more like contests of endurance. The Feasts of Saints. Across the Imperium, there are a multitude of local saints. Some might have been great warriors like Drusus, others men of otherworldly faith. In each case, the festival will entail different ceremonies and blessings, differing expressions of religious ardor that reflect the local culture and customs. Other celebrations are Fistmas, as performed on Necromunda, not my own orcish one at all. Heart Day and the Great Roasting of Russ are all other festivals. Yet too many. The most important across the entire Imperium, after the Feast of the Ascension, is that of the Sanguinala. The Sanguinala is a day of deep gratitude and self-sacrifice. Some worlds celebrate it as a mournful day of self-reflection, others see it as a day of thanks, others still a moment of great celebration. But in all of those worlds, the meaning is universal, for it is the day memorializing the sacrifice of the Primarch Sanguinius, the angel. of all of the Primarchs, the sons of the Emperor, it is Sanguinius who is most loved, and it is he who is mourned most bitterly. The angel was ever a visual sign to the masses. He was otherworldly, beautiful, and some said, the most powerful of all the Primarchs. Perhaps, should the Emperor had gone back into the shadows, as he did so many times over the history of humanity, it would have been he, Sanguinius, who would be the one to take the reins of power. Although most do not know it, it is exactly what happened in the Imperium Secundus, though Guilliman saw it as a way to save himself from being accused of demagoguery. Even so, despite that he was not made War Master, many said that Sanguinius was most alike to the Emperor himself. Hence, his loss was the most bitter, the sting most harsh, and it is the Sanguinala that commemorates his life and death. Many a priest giving a sermon will emphasize his grace, to thus enhance the goodness of his father, the Emperor. Many a priest supporting the armed forces of the Imperium will emphasize his willful sacrifice, that he knew what was asked of him, and went to his death to protect his father, the Emperor. Now it is often stated in the fandom that the Sanguinala is also a direct copy of Christmas, a time of joy and passing of presents, of warmth and familial love. And whatever the case may be, I would urge you, gentle listener, be ye of faith or no, to take some time out in this period to give thanks for that which is good in your life. These days, to concentrate on the woe is a poisoned chalice. Be aware of it, your woe and struggle, but take positive action to change your lot and that of your family and friends. But if you dwell exclusively on the bad in life, then you may just get to the end of it without truly savouring that which you have, all the while bemoaning that which you do not. So in this vein, I thank each and every one of you who have spent any time with me this year. I hope in some tiny way that I have improved your lot, be it from relaxation, a painting prop, or sleeping aid. I will never be able to express how much I truly appreciate each and every one of you. So all I can say is, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I hope you all have a magnificent festive period and, as always, most importantly of all, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Don't worry, big video soon. Toodaloo.